long time is what we just had. It's down and distant Monday, October 10th. Game of the week. We had Washington number 6, USC. What a game up until the fourth quarter. USC found a way to win 30-14. I got some recaps for you of what happened 2 days ago on Saturday. Boy, did A&M find a way to show up. Number 1 recruiting class. I think they spent all offseason and all season long preparing for this game. And they still lost. They should have won that game, but that was the worst play call I've ever seen to win the game. That wasn't even in the end zone. 4th and goal, and you don't even throw it in the end zone. A&M deserves to lose, although Alabama didn't look too impressive either. I think they both deserved to lose that game. That was not impressive by both teams. All right, Oklahoma State finding a way to survive against Texas Tech, 41-31. UCLA having a blast to Utah, and they're climbing the Pac-12, and they're looking to take down USC, the Pac-12 championship later on the season. They're hoping. Kentucky. They need to just stick to chicken and basketball. Ooh, that did not look too good against South Carolina. But the ACC still has hope-ish. NC State looks pretty, not the best NC State I've seen this year, but they still won. Florida State's a good team too. They're going to climb back up there. BYU, Notre Dame. What a show. Marcus Freeman's finally doing something. Took about a month, but finally, Notre Dame's finally winning games. Oh my goodness, that TCU Kansas was a fun game to watch, as expected. That was more fun to watch than Texas and Oklahoma. Who knew? But anyway, Kansas couldn't find a way to win at home, even though they had home field advantage. TCU is quite an offensive team. Kansas State struggling to the worst team in the Big 12, Iowa State. Matt Campbell is on the hot seat. Possibly. I don't know. We're going to find out later in the season if Iowa State can find a way to win this game. And number 21, Washington, struggling to a team that fired their head coach. Arizona State wins 45-38. Next games to talk about. Cincinnati was in trouble to South Florida. Yeah, they struggled to South Florida and almost lost 28-24. Anyway, Georgia Tech, just like Arizona State, coming off firing their head coach and athletic director, they beat I say undefeated Duke, but they did lose to Kansas. But a basketball school that tried to turn to a football school by a field goal, but they still won 23-20. Impressive. Also, you notice that I didn't do any highlights since coming on American Game Day this Saturday. Do you want to see me highlight some big games this week? Alright, how'd I do in Pick'em this week? I gotta say, I did terrible. Everyone's gonna laugh at me on this. I didn't do very good at all. I went 6-4, which is not bad. Winning record on the season on 35-24, 212 points. I gotta say, not bad. But this is how I've been doing all season. I really haven't had a decent win. I won every week, or I'm tied. The worst I've done is a tie, which isn't bad, but I need to do better. Now, here's where I did really good on, alright? I actually thought I did pretty good this week. Tennessee at 10, they win. TCU at 9, 1. NC State at 8. They won. Close one, but they won. UTSA, close one. They won at 7. Utah lost. I have them at 6. I'll take that one loss. I can't get them all right. But, Texas winning. At 5. I should have had them at 10. Wow, because of that. And Notre Dame, I had them at 4. And then 1, 2, and 3 were L's. Miami, Iowa State, and Washington State let me down. But I'll take it since they were lower. Since they were in the lower end, lower points. So I gotta say, going 6-4 and getting 43 points is good. I'll take that. That is a big win for me. Despite, getting 43 points is huge. Going 6-4. That's a successful week for me. I'll take it. And guess what? I guess 75 points total in the TCU and Kansas game. And how many combined points was there? Let's find out. Hey, wow, 69 points. So, I was way off. I'm only 6 off. Not bad. If Kansas were to score like one touchdown and missed the extra point, I would have won this game in. But then again, TCU wouldn't have won that game, and that would have been an L for me. So I'm kind of glad it turned out that way. But anyway, how did I do against the spread? Can we just skip over this part? I really don't want to talk about the spread. I went 4 for 6 this week. Got 40 points. Each game is worth 10 points. So obviously, if I get 4 wins, it's 40 points. But I'm 25-34 this year. I got 250 points. I guess 83 points in the TCU Kansas game. Yeah, I was way off. I was thinking it's gonna be a lot more higher scoring game. It didn't work for me. So how do I do against the spread? Let's find out, because I'm going to go fast because I really don't want to talk about this. This is an embarrassing week. 25-34. This is why I don't bet. Texas, easy for me. TCU, easy. Cincinnati, they let me down. I knew I should have picked South Florida, considering Cincinnati's not having a great year. But I really thought that South Florida's 1-5. I really thought this is their one game in Cincinnati to blow out a team. And the way Georgia's been playing the last 2 weeks, I really thought Georgia's going to have another great game to Auburn. Georgia's going to have another bad game versus Auburn. Now a big SEC team for them. Didn't happen. Ohio State did their job, but Texas Tech didn't. Almost. Texas Tech was 9.5 points favored. They lost by 10. I would have won that game if Texas Tech were to somehow get a field goal somewhere. Ugh. I knew that OSU was going to win that game, but I knew it was going to be close, which it was. Just, if Texas Tech were to kick a field goal somewhere at the end. Oh, man. I was so close on that, and if they would have won, I would have been 5-5 this week, and I would have taken that tie. Oh, but, Kansas State let me down. They only won by 1 point, and they were 2.5 favored. Bad beats right there. Oh, Washington State, 11.5 point favored. Just one more touchdown. A lot of these ones I picked were so close. We're right on the line. Ugh. Alabama let me down. I figured they would win big against A&M after what happened last year. And then Oregon did their part, winning 49-22 and 11.5 point favorite. All right, enough about the spread. Hopefully I do a lot better next week. Again, a lot of these I was so close. Some of them were a score away from covering, and they didn't. All right, overrated and underrated time. My favorite part of Down and Distance. Alright, my overrated team this week is LSU. Yep. They got annihilated. Not even close. LSU is ranked number 25. Well, they're not ranked anymore. But they could not do anything. They look like the worst team I've ever seen. They look worse than what Ed Orgeron had. Dang, Brian Kelly is under the hot seat right now. Ooh. But they did play Tennessee. I'll give the credit. Tennessee is a good team. But, come on, LSU. I know you can compete. Brian Kelly, I know you can get that team together and compete. But, yeah, there's nothing I can say about that. They got a talented team. I don't know what's going on down there. Come on, LSU. Yeah, Brian Kelly's not doing too well down there. Alright, my underrated team this week. Who is it going to be? Drum roll, please. UCLA, yep, in the Pac-12. Chip Kelly is doing an amazing job down there. Took him 3 years, but to get them where they're at. But what an amazing job. They are really competing, and UCLA, I think, is ready for the Big Ten. They look amazing down there. I cannot believe how great they look. If you take what UCLA was a couple years ago, you would never imagine that they would be competitive in the Pac-12. Chip Kelly is doing an amazing job down there and really competitive and taking down a really good Utah team. And we're going to see if Utah can bounce back, because now that Utah has lost now for their second time since playing Florida, now we're going to see, alright, they're going on the road to play a really good USC team, Lincoln Riley. How can Utah respond? Utah was my favorite in the Pac-12. Don't let me down, Utah. Come on. I know you can do it. But, yeah, look out for UCLA and LSU, and don't worry about LSU. LSU fans, you just gotta hope for next year. Alright, the Panthers fired Coach Ruth after a 1-4 start. He's 11-24 overall. Yeah, I think he's a lot better coach in college. Because I think it was Temple. I think he was the head coach at Temple. He turned that program around. Then he got hired at Baylor. Just 2 years at Baylor. I think 2 years. Maybe it was 1 year. I think 2 years he spent at Baylor. Turned that program around. And Baylor still looks really good under his recruiting. Although Baylor's kind of having, I don't know what's going on with Baylor this year. But they do not look like the same team they were last year. Even though they look more talented. Or I wouldn't say more talented, but they're supposed to have more talented players. All right, but we'll just have to wait and find out. All right, so is he gonna go back to college? I think so. What college coach is gonna hire him? I think we'll just have to wait and see. I think Nebraska. Is Nebraska, or I think it's going to tell you, is Nebraska or Washington going to hire him? That could be a good one. Alright, so NFL recap. The Colts on Thursday night. No touchdowns at all field goals, win 12-9. The most boring game I've ever seen. The Giants beating the Packers in a good decent game. The Cowboys having a blast against the Super Bowl teams. I think every team is enjoying beating the Rams right now, because they can all say, hey, we just beat the team that won the Super Bowl, so we deserve a Super Bowl chance, right? Right, nah. Yeah, nah, that's not how it works. I think the Rams are struggling right now. And then the game of the week in the NFL, we got the Falcons and the Buccaneers. Tom Brady finally finishing a game. It wasn't pretty once again, but finally managed to win a game 21-15. Anyway, the Eagles on the road to face the Cardinals. And they won 20-19. What a game. Came down to the end. What a game. And also, we got Monday Night Football tonight. Yeah, you see that? No score means that game is tonight. Raiders and Chiefs. What time is that on? Oh, 7:15. Yeah, this is good. Go ahead, put my pick on the Chiefs because obviously they're 3-1. Raiders are 1-3, so this is not going to be a close game at all. Chiefs will have this game won on the first touchdown opening drive. Alright, back to college football. Let's check out my rankings for this week. Do I have any big jumps or any new teams? Well, you see right there, South Carolina is downranked. I like what they're doing down there. I got Kentucky. I still got them ranked despite their struggles the past couple of weeks. North Carolina is ranked now. I do still have BYU after losing their game to Notre Dame. And Minnesota, after having the bye week, I'm still keeping them at 25. But wow, what a week for these two teams. I like what South Carolina doing and North Carolina. I want to see those two teams play each other right now to compete for a ranking spot. Alright, a lot of people probably don't agree with me, but I still got Baylor ranked because I think they still have a shot. Probably not the Big 12, but make some noise. Pull up some crazy upsets. Do not still sleep on Baylor yet, even though they're having quite a rough start. Hey, but at least you're not Oklahoma. But Utah dropping down 11 spots after losing to UCLA. Wake Forest and Kansas State staying put. Because, Kansas State really, not that of an impressive win, but they still won the game. Same with Wake Forest. And Syracuse jumps into the top 20. Alright, my top 15 teams. Mississippi State at 11. Number 12, I got UCLA. In case you're wondering how that's a big jump for them. They're almost in the top 10. Penn State still at 13. TCU is all the way up to 14, and 15 is still NC State. Wow, Mississippi State and UCLA are one of probably my biggest jumps in my rankings. The biggest surprise. They look really impressive right now, and I can't wait to see how they do the rest of the season and make some noise in their conference. But wow, what a team those two are. Alright, here's my top 10. At number 7, Ole Miss goes up a spot. Clemson goes up a spot to 8. Number 9, I got USC going up a spot. And 10, I got Oklahoma State. So again, I think all these teams moved up quite a spot. So Oklahoma State now in my top 10 now, which is the highest Big 12 team I have. And do any of these teams still have a shot at the playoffs? I think all these teams in my top 10 still have a shot at the playoffs right now. So let's look at my playoff picture. Who do I have? I still have Ohio State at number 1. So far, they've been the most dominating team in college football. And so far, I know they haven't really played a strong competitive team yet, or really a good physical team yet, or been challenged, but they haven't had a close game yet. Alabama and Georgia, they're cupcake teams, or I guess lower conference games. They struggled in those games. So, I got Alabama and Georgia at 2, despite they still look great. Oregon is up at 6, moving up a spot, replacing Utah. So I have another Pac-12 team taking the 6th spot. Number 4, I still got Tennessee, and number 5, I got Michigan. So, what did the AP poll decide? Do they still have Alabama at number 1, or are they switching it back to Georgia? Yep, they put Georgia back at number 1. No way! Oh my goodness, AP. Alright, so, Ohio State's too. Okay, moving Ohio State up. I trust that, but again, Georgia almost lost to Kansas State. Oklahoma destroyed Kansas State. Oklahoma is terrible this year, and Alabama is 3. Wow. All right. What other moves do they got? Okay, they get Tennessee up there. They're following what I do on Tennessee. Finally, they get that they see Tennessee the way that I do. Okay, I'm cool with that. You got to put another conference team up there, Clemson, and 5. At least we agree on Michigan. Okay. At least we agree on Michigan for 5. But wow, what a ranking. What is the AP poll doing? And let's check out some other notes for us. So, Texas, Illinois, and James Madison is ranked now? What is going on? Are they just ranking them because they're new in the FBS and they're likely gonna have their first bowl game? This is the bowl eligible time week. That's what I should have named this eligible. Bowl eligible. Man, I just noticed that because it was just week 7, and I know most teams have already had all their finished out their bye week. So, yeah, most of the teams are bowl eligible now. Even if they lose out, they're still going to a bowl game. Wow. Alright, BYU, Washington, LSU dropped out. No surprise here, UCLA, the biggest jump, went up 7 spots, so they're at 11 now. I'm surprised they're not in the top 10. But they kind of agree with me, same area as I do. And the biggest fall. Utah and Kentucky go down 9 spots. Wow, Utah's down to 20, Kentucky's down to 23. I'm surprised they didn't drop out. Alright, so back to college football. Headline. Alright, so Alabama, Bryce Young will be ready against Tennessee. This is going to be major impact because even though that they didn't start him against A&M did have a pretty good defense, but their offense struggled, which almost cost them the game against A&M with those turnovers. But with Bryce Young back under center, that game could be quite a game to watch. Also, what's happening to the Sooners? The Oklahoma Sooners are struggling right now. They just lost 49-0 to Texas in the Red River Showdown. Yeah, their biggest rivalry game of the season. And I'm going to answer that question. I think I'm going to do it on Tuesday night. So check out my Slate Report podcast because I'm going to do a special episode on the Oklahoma Sooners to find out what's going on. All right. To the Atlantic Coast we go on the standings, the ACC standings. Okay, I forgot to combine the West and the East, or I think it's Southwest, whatever, the 2 divisions in the ACC last week. So, I'm doing this again! And here's the ACC combined. Clemson and Syracuse still at the top. North Carolina, Georgia Tech, Florida State, move on up there. Look, at the ACC is very competitive right now. Also, the Big 12 is very competitive. Kansas State takes the #1 spot. Kansas, after losing to TCU, dropped to 4. So that means, and TCU just ahead of them, so Kansas State, Oklahoma State, and TCU all have a shot at the Big 12 championship, but do not sleep on Kansas or Texas at all, because the Big 12 is wide open. You never know what can happen because there's a lot of competitive teams in the Big 12. And you never know. Baylor might come out of nowhere and take out win the rest of their games. Big 10 we go. We finally, after having an amazing week, last week, it was the conference standings was just one-sided. Alright, now, even though, they're not more together, I finally, Illinois and Purdue has moved into the top 5 now. Taking out, I forgot, I think it was Maryland and Minnesota. But anyway, the Big 10 is also very competitive. Pac-12 we go, USC, UCLA, still at the top of the standings. Utah, Oregon still up there. So the top 4 stay the state. California take Washington State's spot. Don't sleep on California. wow, the Pac-12 is going to be chaotic this year. So, when 1 versus 4 play each other, the Pac-12 is going to fall apart, likely. Very likely the Pac-12 will fall apart and will likely not see them in the playoffs once again. Alright, to the SEC we go. Alabama still won. But yet Georgia's ranked ahead of them. Surprising. Tennessee goes up to 3. Ole Miss is 4. And number 5 is LSU. Keep in mind that I do not do these standings. These are computer generated. I put them in a computer. The computer rates it for them. But when the conferences are split into divisions, I have a computer combine them all and rank them based on that. So these are not my rankings. These are computer rankings. Alright, around the network we go. Check out my Slay Report podcast every Monday, 6 o'clock. Also Tuesday, I'm going to have a special episode about what's going on with the Sooners. Alright, and this show, Down and Distant, every Monday, 6 o'clock. Get ready to watch this show, because there's a lot going on in it. Hot Seats, first Monday of every month at 6:30. Answering y'all's important questions and putting coaches on the hot seat on if any firing could potentially happen. Also, every Saturday, 10 a.m., our pick-up show, American Game Day, our weekend show. And also, if you haven't already, check out our website for the latest news, scores, stats, team news, etc. Alright, that's all what's going around the network here on Busy Sports. So, what games are this week? Well, we got Louisiana and Marshall on Wednesday at 6:30 on ESPN2. Real quickly, so they don't follow the Sun Belt very much, go ahead, put my pick on Marshall. I know that Louisiana will probably likely win this game because they are known for a football school, even though they're quite terrible this year. I got Marshall winning this game. To the Big 12 we go. An important game for Baylor if they can bounce back and climb the Big 12 like they rightfully should. This game is Thursday, 6 o'clock on FS1. And this is an important game because West Virginia, even though they likely are the worst team in the Big 12 right now, the Big 12 is very competitive. They can still win this game, but I think Baylor's got the edge in this one. To Friday Night Lights we go! We got Navy and SMU, 6:30 on ESPN. Both these two teams are kind of at the bottom of the American Conference. And when they're at the bottom of the American Conference and I have to pick between these two teams, and Navy is one of these two teams, I'm picking Navy. Just go America. Woo! Alright, this Saturday we go at 11 o'clock, a big noon Saturday on Fox. We got Penn State, Michigan, a big Big Ten matchup. Or I should say, a Big Ten big matchup on a big noon Saturday. Sounds very weird. Anyway, this is a big game, the Big Ten. I think Penn State is going to show up. This is going to be a very competitive team, and this is going to be Michigan's first test to see if they truly are a playoff team. We're going to get our answer here pretty soon. All right, to stay with the Big Ten we go. Minnesota just dropping out of the AP rankings and still in mine. But Illinois jumping to the AP ranking. I am also keeping a very close eye on them because, I was deciding between a couple of teams to jump in my rankings, but I really want to see how Illinois does against Minnesota before I rank them first. So, Illinois, we're keeping an eye on you to see if you can stay ranked. Also, TCU, Oklahoma State, 2:30 ABC. Yeah, the Big 12 is very competitive right now, like I've said multiple times this year, and TCU, I think, got the edge. I think they could take down the Cowboys, but I'm not giving my pick away. But it's gonna come down to the wire after in order for Oklahoma State to win that game, they gotta play defense. It's something they struggled on all season long this year. All right, ACC, NC State, Syracuse. This is going to be two teams that I am looking forward to watching as they climb. Or NC State's kind of fallen apart lately, not as great as I expected. Syracuse coming out of nowhere and looking really good lately. What is going on? Anyway, they look really good right now. All right, Mississippi State, Kentucky. All right. Can Kentucky answer after having two back-to-back losses? Also, Mississippi State's coming off of two amazing wins after beating A&M, and I can't remember who they beat last week. Sorry, I forgot. But, I mean, this is going to be a good game. I cannot wait to see this. This is going to be a high-powered offensive teams, and we're going to see some good defense in this, too. Big turnovers is likely happening. Pac-12, all right. Here is our top 4 matchup in the Pac-12 we go. I was talking about USC and Utah. All right, maybe I should have not featured Washington State and USC last week and do this as the game of the week, because USC's likely potentially has in the bigger game. Yeah, I regret picking that as the game of the week. But there's a lot more better game this week than USC and Utah. And that's Alabama and Tennessee. 3 versus 6. 2:30 on CBS. Yep, I've been hyping up Tennessee all season long as a playoff team. Alabama looking really, except for when they played Texas. But, I mean, Texas gave it their all. I'll give Texas credit for that. But, wow! Man, this is going to be a big game. This is going to shape up the playoff a lot. This has got major playoff impact in it. And that's why American Game Day is going to be called Playoff Impact episode this week. Alright, can't wait to watch it. I got more to talk about that game on American Game Day, but thanks for watching Down a Distance. I'll see you next Monday at 6 o'clock.